this prayer. So, in my little bed I lie, Heavenly Father, hear my prayer. God, protect me through the night, keep me safe till morning light. This is the prayer that my mother would teach me so that I could say it so that I would be protected at night. And what happened is the complete opposite of that. I was not protected. I was exposed inappropriately to things that I should not have seen, felt, or spoken. And that continued. That started at 5. I went to the Stefan Speaks to launch my podcast interviewing called Cocktales with LA. And I was fortunate enough to be able to interact with the people coming to see his show. So he's a relationship expert. He has almost 2 million people following him on Instagram. The room was packed with like 300 women, maybe 5 men. And they all wanted to know, you know, what does this man have to tell us about relationships? I also work at the University of Toronto. I'm a registrar and sessional lecturer there. I've worked there for over 10 years. And I'm a mother. I have 2 children. I'm 18 and 7. And I was married and engaged in my relationship for 16 years. And near the end of that relationship, when my father had passed away, many repressed memories started to flood my mind, and kind of take over my life. And I could feel that the 16 years of sobriety that I didn't even know I was in sobriety for, I just thought I was living my life, came to a head. And I was forced to have to look at some things, because now, not being a young woman anymore, you know, people always wonder, at what stage do you take responsibility for your actions? And I think that happens when you become aware that there is a responsibility to take. So it's not about, oh, I'm 50, that person should know what to do by now. If that person isn't in awareness, how are they supposed to do anything about it? And I know how to laugh at myself. I know how to not take myself very seriously. What I am not is an expert in anything. I'm not an expert on sexual addiction. I am an expert in my life, and I can share with you what I've learned and what I'm going to continue to build upon in this realization of what's happened to me. Yeah, I guess, but I've also always been living on my own anyway. Since I was little, I've had to, nobody was there worrying about me when I was being molested. They were there judging me, saying, you did this or you did that, and your behavior is this and your behavior is that. Never asking why. You know, how can I support you? Do you know that this is another way you can live? Where's that in our community? Where do we support each other and hold space for each other without the judgment? So yes, do I have a fear of being judged by people? Of course. But I know that there's people in here that have experienced something, that are empathizing with what I'm saying, and they're gaining something from what I'm saying. And I think that is worth it to me, to be on display for people in ways that maybe it's making them feel uncomfortable, but it's okay. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. I once heard that healing is not a destination, that it's a process. It's an ongoing process. And so I don't want to not engage in love because I'm healing, because I'm never going to arrive somewhere to be like, okay, now I can love. I want love now. I'm willing to communicate the kind of love that I want. I understand the love languages that I need. And in communicating that, I think the right person will make themselves apparent to me. I think that now that I'm putting myself on blast as a sex addict, there's a lot of men that are like, hey, what's up, girl? And that's okay too. I'm learning, you know, when I'm off the wagon, that can be fun sometimes. In seriousness now. I do believe that I can find love. I do believe that I can do it as a part of my everyday living, because my living is my healing. And every relationship and experience that I have, even with all of you, is another step towards becoming that healed individual. I feel happy every day. And even when I have moments of sadness, it doesn't feel the same, because I continue to learn. I continue to hear other people's stories and grow. And it's given me so much freedom. And that I'm actually probably healthier to be in a relationship right now than I was in any other time in my life. Because the acknowledgement and the awareness of where I am is what will make the relationship healthy, which is not where I was before. I was just doing what I was reacting to the fear, reacting to the distrust. And you can't grow from there. We are human beings that like to expand our existence. And anything that makes you shrink or feel smaller, I don't think that that's the direction you should go in. My relationship with my children has always been, Mommy's not like the other mummies. They knew that from jump. So for me to say something like this publicly, my children wouldn't be surprised, because I don't hide myself from my children. My oldest son might be constantly like this, the emoticon where the person's like this. That is the constant state of my oldest son anytime I'm gonna speak. Yet every year we pick a different city and we travel, and there's no way he's gonna miss that. He texts me every day, I love you, Mom. You know, are you okay? How's today going? You have to involve your children in your experience, because they can be your biggest supporters. These are the people that teach you love. They are the ones that teach you unconditional love. I can't get that from my mom, but I got it from my boys. The reason why my Cocktales show is called Cocktales with LA, The Adventures of a Recovering Sex Addict, is a large part of that is learning how to have the adventures of having empowering sexual experiences. You might think that I'm wild and crazy in bed and I do all of these different things, and that may or may not be true. I'm not saying anything there. But I will also say that I haven't had a lot of experience, because most of my sexual experience has been in pleasing the person I'm with, because that's what I learned how to do. You don't want to wait for somebody to open up the whole world for you. Open up the world for yourself and see if somebody wants to come along with you. Oh my God, I've had way too many codependent relationships in my life. I rebuke them. They come from the devil, okay? Yep. Own yourself. Own yourself. Do not look to anyone to free you, save you, nothing like that. It's gonna end badly. Oprah, I think, and many others who have been sexually abused when they were younger often talk about the conflict of somebody hurting you, but it feeling good. Right? So sexual pleasure feels good. Sexual touching, sexual anything feels good. But when you don't have the perspective or the context of how it should be, then it becomes more of a, it can become a deterrent to how you see yourself. People do what they can, right? They just because I'm having this experience doesn't mean that you're not having an experience. It may not be the same. So we really need to develop a trust and an acceptance of who we all are, and that whatever we see presenting itself or manifesting itself isn't always as it seems or as it appears. It may be how they like to feel comfortable in presenting who they are. When I'm interacting with a man, I try to be aware of my triggers. I try to own what I'm feeling so that I can share it with them, so that they have the choice of whether or not they want to support that or turn away from it. Mm-hmm. And the turning away from it is always really anxiety driven. And when people stop talking to you or just not engaging you, and you're reaching out and you've always been honest with them, but they don't respond back to you that way, it's so hurtful. Mm-hmm. And I find that this time is more and more like that, and I don't understand it. It's killing our community. But I also have to recognize that they may not have what I've been doing. I've been engaged in my healing. Not everyone is. and there's different levels. So you have to just, you know, when I get disappointed that the person didn't respond to me the way that I wanted them to, I have to give them the freedom and love to let them go for myself, and to hope that maybe if it's time, we'll reconnect another time. But for the most part, you have to just let people be where they are, and always say what you want, always create the boundaries, and hope for the best. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Emily.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Can I just say, I just want to say thank you to all of you. This has been really cathartic for me to share it live this way. So thank you all very much.